you? Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So you feel this way of writing is better than doing it on whiteboard. Is that true? I don't know why people have asked me to switch over, because they asked me, I am going to this old method. This is, anyway, I change to whiteboard soon. But today we start like this. We have started. Tomorrow onwards we go. But some student called me. He asked me to write on a white paper. Everybody is doing like that. Everybody is using only white papers, or they are using whiteboard. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What others are doing? Are they using whiteboard or they are using papers?
Sir, some are using whiteboards. Sir.
But I am always comfortable with whiteboard. Anyway, fine.
Yes,
But some student has telephoned me and asked me, please don't do on board. Do
Yeah,
it
this
on
is
paper.
nice, sir.
Both the ways I will do, don't worry. So topic of this current 2 weeks is solutions. So far we have discussed about alkyl and aryl halides, which you might have forgotten. And then we talked about P block elements. And then we talked about solid state. Okay, now we have entered into the chapter number 4, solutions. After completing solutions, we will plan to revise the previous topics briefly. Then we will have a unit test. How is the idea, sir?
yes, sir.
Sir, what is the idea, sir? Going now.
I am saying that we have completed alkyl halides, aryl halides, P block elements, solid state, and now we entered into a chapter called solutions. After completing solutions, we need to spend 1 week for revising what we have done in the last 4 chapters. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, metallurgy also we done, no, sir?
Oh, which I forgot. Thank you. You reminded me. Metallurgy also we have done. Metallurgy. Right. So 5 chapters we have to revise after solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you overall view of this chapter. The solution topic talks about different types
Means, sir,
of...
next week 5 chapters revision, sir.
Sir, after completing this chapter slowly, if you all wish that we will make a revision of earlier topics also, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
All this depends on
Okay,
how
sir.
nicely if we can do it fast, then we will have time for revision. If you are spending too much time on solutions, then you don't have time for revision. Let us see how nicely it goes. Okay, let us see first.
Sir, then each chapter 1 week, sir.
Sir, first we will see what all we see in this chapter.
Okay.
We will be seeing what is a solution and what are different types of solutions. Okay, different types means a solution can be in gaseous state, it can be in liquid state, it can be in solid state at a room temperature. A gaseous solution may have gas plus gas, or it may have gas plus liquid, or it may have gas plus solid. For example, your smoke is a solution that has fine carbon particles dispersed in air. If you have wet air, moist air, or you call it as sometimes the cloud which is in contact with the ground that contain liquid particles of water dispersed in air, moist air. Air is pure air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So a gaseous solution can have combination G plus G, G plus L, G plus S. Similarly, a liquid solution may have, it looks like liquid, but it has liquid plus gas like soda water, liquid plus liquid like your whiskey, rum, gin, brandy. It can be like a liquid plus solid like sugar solution, salt solution. You can also have solid solutions which look like a solid, but really it has solid plus gas as palladium hydrogen. Hydrogen is absorbed by palladium gas. Palladium metal absorbs hydrogen gas. Carbon absorbs poisonous gases. So a solid which absorbed gas looks like a solid. It can be a solid plus liquid. It looks like a solid, but inside it has liquid molecules like your jangri. Have you ever eaten a jangri? Jalebi?
Yes, sir.
Your shoe polish?
Yes, sir.
Shoe polish looks like a solid, but inside it has liquid particles. Or it can be like a solid plus solid, like your alloys. Gold, ornamental gold is a mixture of gold and copper. If there is no copper, you can't make ornament with gold. So your steel is an alloy of iron with manganese, nickel, cobalt. Your brass is an alloy of copper and zinc, so on, all alloys. So a solution is that which looks homogeneous, which looks as if it is having only one component. It looks homogeneous. If you dissolve sugar in water, it looks homogeneous. Always a homogeneous mixture of two or more components is called solution. Sir, if you are putting sand in water, you can clearly see sand as one phase and water as a different phase. It has two phases. It is not homogeneous. If it is heterogeneous, it is not a solution. Solution is that which is always homogeneous. Are we very clear, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, sir, in this lesson, you are going to study factors affecting solubility. To what extent the solute, small component, dissolves in solvent, the big component. You know, in air, what is solute, what is solvent, sir? In air, what is solute, what is solvent? Can you say, sir? The bigger component, major component is solvent, minor component is solute. In air, pure air, what is solute, what is solvent? Hello, sir. Hello.
Solvent is nitrogen gas.
Perfect. Solvent is nitrogen gas. Solute is can be oxygen, can be carbon dioxide, can be argon, and whatever the minor components. So, a solute is that which disappears in solvent. If you are putting salt in water, salt will disappear. The minor component, the component that disappears on adding is called solute. Now, if I am putting salt in water, salt will disappear. Very good. If I add more salt, a stage will come that no more salt can dissolve. That state of solution is called saturated solution. When your chemistry teacher is teaching you a lesson, a time will come beyond that if he teaches you go mad. Please, for God's sake, leave me today. Please, please, please. But the person who is teaching will not be knowing the limitation of the student. He starts killing. That's very bad. Notice, a saturated state is a state beyond which you can't go. So, a saturated solution is a solution where maximum amount of solute that can dissolve. No more can dissolve. Sometimes you can tempt slowly if you heat. Then it will be in a state to dissolve a little more salt. You add a little more salt and just don't touch it and disturb it. You leave. That is called supersaturated solution. But supersaturated solution is unstable. If you disturb it, if you shake it, it gets precipitated. So anyway, some materials dissolve more, some materials dissolve less, say in water. What are the factors that affect the solubility of a solute? When you are talking of sugar dissolved in water, there is a lot of sugar that can dissolve in water. Salt cannot dissolve that much. Have you ever observed, sir? Hello?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, by doing what I can make more salt dissolve in water? I think factors affecting the solubility of a
By
solute.
increasing the temperature.
Notice that first whether it dissolves or not depends on the nature of anti-antibody A and B. A is solute, B is solvent. If both have similar nature, one can dissolve in the other easily. For example, HCl is a polar gas. It has H plus delta, Cl minus delta. Water is a polar liquid, H plus delta, O minus delta. So HCl gas happily dissolves in water, like dissolves like. If you happen to see a beautiful girl of your community, when you are all alone, you will have wonderful time pass, trust me. But if you are looking a very tall, dark colored Negro lady nearby you, and you are scared of by seeing her, now how you will have time pass? You can't gel well. Like dissolves like is a principle in chemistry. Like dissolves like. Therefore, chemically similar materials dissolve in each other. If I try to dissolve H2 gas in water, sorry, I can't dissolve. I can dissolve very small extent. O2 gas, H2 gas, N2 gas, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. All these are non-polar. They don't dissolve in water much. Carbon dioxide, wow. HCl, ammonia. The fellows which are polar, they try to dissolve more. Iodine, if you try to dissolve in water, it dissolves very, very less. If you try to put iodine in carbon tetrachloride liquid, if you try to put iodine in kerosene, okay, it will dissolve. Always rule, like dissolves like. Are we very clear, sir? Hello.
Yes.
So one factor that decides solubility is the chemical similarity. Chemical similarity. Second factor that governs the solubility is temperature. Third factor that decides the solubility is pressure. In fact, the effect of temperature on solubility is given by Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Ln of solubility under condition 1 by solubility under condition 2 is equal to heat of dissolution divided by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. There is a strange formula that tells you how the solubility at T1 temperature and solubility at T2 temperature depends on temperature. I would like ln solubility under condition 1 by solubility under condition 2 is equal to delta H by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. It is called Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Clausius-Clapeyron. What is this Clausius-Clapeyron equation? Under temperature T1, if the solubility is C1, under temperature T2, solubility would be C2. If whenever the material is dissolved, delta H is the heat energy change. The heat energy change can be negative. If the delta H is negative, solution is becoming hot on adding solute. For example, if you are adding washing soda in water, solution becomes hot. If you are dissolving glucose in water, solution becomes cool. In some cases, it is delta H negative, heat energy is released. In some cases, delta H is positive, heat energy is absorbed. When glucose is dissolved, solution becomes cool, heat energy is absorbed. When washing soda is dissolved, solution becomes hot, heat energy is released. Exothermic dissolution, endothermic dissolution. Depending on the nature of delta H, solubilities vary with the temperature. All this we study in detail in classes to come. The relation between solubility under one condition to the other is called Clausius-Clapeyron equation. What is that, sir? Hello?
Clausius
Yes, yes,
Clapeyron.
So you see, some materials dissolve more on heating. Some materials dissolve less on heating, depending on whether delta H is positive or negative. If delta H is positive, if you rise temperature, it dissolves more. For example, glucose dissolves more in water if you heat. But washing soda dissolves less in water if you heat. Always material solubility will not increase on heating. It depends on its delta H heat of dissolution. Are we very clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So this is about solubility of a solid in water. Generally, we are considering liquid solutions. The story can be different. Suppose you want to dissolve in water carbon dioxide. This water containing carbon dioxide is sold in market as soda. Have you ever drank soda? Hello?
Yes, sir. Carbonated drinks.
Carbonated drinks you will take when there is a stomach disorder. People prefer to take soda. People prefer to take soda when they are taking whiskey, rum, gin, brandy. When people are taking brandy, some people prefer pure water. Some people prefer ice cubes. Some people prefer soda. What do you prefer, sir?
Nothing, sir.
Stupid fellows, you should not drink, for God's sake. Okay? Now coming back, when carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, that is called carbonated drink. Very good. To dissolve more carbon dioxide, should I heat it or should I cool it? What do you think? Hello, sir.
Sir, depends on delta H.
I am asking you, sir, practically I want more carbon dioxide to dissolve in water. Now what should I do? Should I heat it? Should I cool it? I should cool it. By default, I should cool it. Any gas can dissolve in cool water more than in hot water. Actually, when I am heating water, I am seeing bubbles. Block, 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 block. What are those bubbles?
Carbon dioxide.
No. That is the oxygen that dissolved in water. Maybe even carbon dioxide that is dissolved in water that goes out. Not all gases dissolved in water. When you are heating, they will go out in the form of bubbles. Have you ever observed? Block, 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 block.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Notice, in hot water, gases are less soluble. In cold water, gases are more soluble because heat of dissolution of gas is always negative exothermic in water. Any delta H negative means solubility is not encouraged by heating. It is discouraged. Therefore, you can dissolve more carbon dioxide in water. Therefore, they write in soda bottles, serve chilled. On beer bottles, they write, serve chilled. Have you ever observed beer kept always in refrigerators? It is sold very cool. Beer bottles are always cool. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No.
Even carbonated drinks.
Yeah, you might have observed,
No.
Oh, you should observe, man.
Where,
sir? You should not drink, that's fine, but you should observe, See, notice that all cool drinks, all aerated drinks, all beers, they are always kept in refrigerators. But brandy, whiskey, gin, rum, all these are not kept in refrigerator because they don't contain any gases. Brandy is not containing any gas. Beer is containing CO2. Aerated drinks, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, they all contain CO2. So they are sold under cold condition. Anyway, therefore, the temperature is one of the factors. The effect of temperature on solubility is to be understood. Next question. What happens if I raise pressure? If I am putting more pressure, will more CO2 dissolve or less CO2 dissolve?
More CO2, sir.
The extent or the fraction or the mole fraction of the gas that dissolves in any liquid is directly proportional to the pressure. More pressure, more solubility.
Sir, move
So
your book
the
right
mole
side. Sir.
fraction, yes, sir.
Move your book right side. Sir. Right.
Okay. Left or right? This side, is it like this? Oh, I'll highlight here. The fraction, the number of moles of gas dissolved in given number of moles of liquid. Mole fraction means number of moles gas dissolved, number of moles of gas dissolved divided by number of moles of gas plus number of moles of liquid. This is called mole fraction. Number of moles of gas dissolved divided by number of moles of gas plus number of moles of liquid is called mole fraction of gas. The mole fraction of gas dissolved in any liquid is directly proportional to pressure. Or mole fraction of gas is equal to a constant into pressure. This is called Henry's law. What is it called, sir?
Henry's law.
So on Henry's law, there are many problems which are being asked in IIT exam. So we are going to study what is the Henry's law. That tells about the effect of pressure on solubility of gases. So first we understand what are the different types of solutions. Then next thing, what are the various factors that affect the solubility? What is Clausius-Clapeyron equation? Can you say what is Clausius-Clapeyron equation? Ln of solubility 1 by solubility 2 is equal to heat of dissolution divided by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. What is this called, sir? Clausius
What is that, sir?
Gas
universal
constant.
gas constant. Universal gas constant R is equal to 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole, or it can be 0.082 liter atmosphere per mole per Kelvin. Anyway, we see later on. So we are going to study the factors that affect the solubility fact of gases in liquids, of solids in liquids, etc. Okay, sir? Okay, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Most importantly, we will be knowing, sir, what is your height? If I ask, what you will say? 160 centimeters, some centimeters you say. Or you will say 5 feet 7 inches. This is the unit to say height. If I ask, what is your weight? You will say, my weight is 51 kgs, 58 kgs. Kg is the unit of weight. Similarly, what is the unit of concentration of a solution?
Mole.
How concentrated a solution is? How can I say? In 1 liter water, if you are dissolving 1 mole of any solute, it is called 1 molar solution. What is it called, sir?
1 molar solution.
1 molar.
Molarity means you are saying number of
Solution.
moles dissolved in 1 liter of a solution, N by V. More number of moles you are dissolving in 1 liter, more concentrated it is. It is called molarity. You know, number of moles is given by weight of a given material in grams by its molecular weight, and volume in liters you can get by multiplying with 1000 by volume in ml. This is the formula to get what is called molarity. Molarity is a scale to say how many moles of damn dirty solid dissolved in 1 liter of solution. Moles per liter. Formula to calculate molarity is weight of solute in grams by molecular weight into 1000 by volume in ml. Are we clean, sir? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose
Clear.
if I am dissolving 5 moles of glucose in 3 liters of water, its molarity is 5 by 3 m. Can you see it, sir? Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I am dissolving 0.2 moles of urea in 100 ml of water, what is its molarity, sir? Number of moles by volume in liters. Number of moles is 0.2. 100 ml means how many liters, sir?
0.1.
0.1.
I represent 2m. Capital M means moles per liter, molarity. Similarly, if I am saying how many moles are dissolved in 1 kg of solvent, this time
Molality.
it is volume, it is mass. It is called molality, small m. If I am saying instead of moles, how many equivalent weights are dissolved in 1 liter? It is called
Normality.
normality. What do I mean by equivalent weight, sir? Equivalent weight is sometimes equal to molecular weight, sometimes not equal to molecular weight. Molecular weight divided by n factor is equal to equivalent weight. I want to know what is equivalent weight, how to work out the equivalent weight. I will be knowing it soon. But at the moment, in some cases, both molecular weight and equivalent weight are same because n is equal to 1. If n is equal to 2, then equivalent weight is molecular weight by 2. If n is equal to 3, then equivalent weight is molecular weight by 3.
3.
3.
So, what is n? I will be knowing. Anyway, instead of saying molecular weight, if I am saying equivalent weight, number of equivalent weights dissolved in 1 liter is called a normality. In some cases, normality is equal to molarity. In some cases, normality is not equal to molarity. Sometimes I would say molarity into n factor is equal to normality. What is that n factor? We will be knowing. But molarity is a method to explain the concentration of solution. Molality is another method to express the concentration of solution. Normality is one more method to express the concentration of solution. And then you also have mole fraction. Mole fraction means you are saying number of moles of one component or solute divided by number of moles of all components. N1 by N1 plus N2 is called mole fraction. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen molarity, number of moles dissolved in 1 liter. Normality, number of equivalent weights dissolved in 1 liter. Molality, number of moles dissolved in 1 kg of solvent. Mole fraction, number of moles of one component divided by number of moles of all components. Sometimes I would say concentration as the mass percentage. What do you mean by mass percentage? You are saying weight of solute dissolved in grams divided by
Solution.
weight of solute plus weight of solvent into 100. In fact, the denominator solute plus solvent is called weight of solution. Weight of solute by weight of solution into 100. In other words, you are saying in 100 grams of solution, what is the weight of solute is called weight percentage. So it is sometimes called W by W percent. Also, sometimes you would say concentration as ppm. What is ppm means? Part per million. Sir, if you take 1 kg of any material, it has 1000 grams. Do you know, sir? Hello? 1 kg is 1000 grams. Do we know, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, every gram is equal to 1000 milligrams, sir. Therefore, 1 kg is equal to 10 to the power 6 milligrams. If you are saying how many milligrams of X, number of, can you see if I am writing? Number of milligrams of X present in 1 kg of any solution, it is called ppm scale. So simple it is. What is ppm scale means? Number of milligrams of any component present in 1 kg of solution. Ladies and gentlemen, if I take 1 kg of water, dissolve 5 milligrams of calcium chloride, I say it is 5 ppm, milligrams of calcium chloride in 1 kg of water. Suppose if I dissolve 10 milligrams of MgSO4 in 100 kg of water. 10 milligrams MgSO4 in 100 kg of water. What is its hardness, sir? Hello?
0.1 ppm.
0.1 ppm.
Always hardness of water, that is the amount of dissolved salts in water which cause hardness, which make soap to break. Generally calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate, calcium, magnesium bicarbonates, they cause hardness to water. If you are saying milligrams of that fellow present in 1 kg of water, then that is called as hardness of water or ppm scale. ppm scale. ppm scale is equal to milligrams of solute by kgs of water. Are you very clear about this? So in this chapter, you are going to study about what are these different scales, what is the relation between them. In these scales, which is affected by temperature, which is not affected. For example, molarity is based on volume. The volume changes on heating. Therefore, molarity scale, normality scale, any scale based on volumes change with the temperature. If the scale is based on weights like molality, like mole fraction, they will not change with temperature. Are we clean, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello. So in this chapter, we are going to talk about different scales that express the concentration of solutions and their relations. Then we will be seeing, pure water, if you put in a tray and wait for some time, say after 10 days, will the water be there?
No, sir, it will be evaporated.
Water will disappear because water will become vapor. The vapor means gaseous component of liquid water, which is there on its surface. Now, every liquid tends to become vapor. If I take petrol, petrol has more tendency to become vapor. Water has a less tendency to become vapor. If I take petrol and water into different trays, open trays, and which is one is going to disappear quickly, petrol or water?
Petrol because
Because
it's more volatile.
petrol has more vapors, it has more vapor pressure. The equilibrium pressure exerted by vapors on its surface in a closed container is called vapor pressure. In a closed container, the pressure exerted by vapor of petrol is more than the pressure exerted by water. Sir, if I take honey, will it cause more vapor pressure or less vapor pressure?
Less vapor pressure, sir.
Least impact, very less. So what are the factors that affect the vapor pressure? Maybe wind velocity, maybe the temperature, maybe the nature of liquid. Some liquids' nature is that they easily become vapors. Some liquids' nature is that they don't become vapor easily. Now, do you know if I start heating water, its vapor pressure will increase? Do you know it increases?
Yes, sir.
If you keep on heating water at 100 degrees centigrade, its vapor pressure is equal to the pressure of the atmosphere. When the vapor pressure of a liquid is equal to the pressure of atmosphere, liquid starts boiling. It is called boiling point. A constant temperature where the vapor pressure of a liquid is equal to an atmosphere is called its normal boiling point. The liquids which have very low boiling point have high vapor pressures. Quickly their vapor pressure will be equal to the atmospheric pressure. Petrol or water, which boils easily, sir?
Petrol, sir.
So which has a high vapor pressure, petrol or water?
Petrol, sir.
So the higher is vapor pressure, lower is the boiling point. Can we say that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I take water, pure water, it has some vapor pressure. Very good. If I dissolve salt in it, its vapor pressure, will it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Always vapor pressure decreases whenever I dissolve a salt in it. More is the amount of salt, more is the decrease in vapor pressure. Are we very clean about it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, the decrease in vapor pressure depends on how many moles of solute you added. Whether you are adding 1 mole of glucose or 1 mole of salt or 1 mole of urea or 1 mole of any other material in 1 liter, the decrease in vapor pressure is always same. So the decrease in vapor pressure depends on the number of moles of solute, but not on its nature. From here you want to go to Delhi. How much money you pay to railway department depends on how many fellows are traveling. Whether the fellows all are Muslims or some are Muslims, some are Hindus, some are ladies, some are gents, some are Buddha, some are young. All this hardly matters. Only the money you pay to railway department depends on number of passengers. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the vapor pressure is a property of solution that depends on number of moles of salt you add. Such properties of solutions which depend on the number of moles of material you added, but not on its nature. If I add 1 mole of glucose, 1 mole of sucrose, 1 mole of urea, 1 mole of some other salt, the change in the vapor pressure is same always. Such properties which depends on number of moles of solute, but not on the nature, are called colligative properties. What they are called?
Colligative properties.
So there are 4 colligative properties. One is change in vapor pressure. Second thing I can say, elevation in boiling point. Boiling point will increase. If I am adding solute, boiling point will increase. The increase in boiling point depends on how many moles of solute you added. The increase in boiling point is called elevation in boiling point. Why boiling point is elevated? Because I dissolved salt. Sir, here is a question. Sea water or river water which has high boiling point, why?
River water, sir, because less amount of salt is dissolved in it.
You have totally mistaken. I am saying if you are dissolving more salt, vapor pressure drops greatly. Vapor pressure drops means it will be difficult for the vapor to get the pressure of atmosphere. Therefore, addition of solute always increase boiling point. Pure water boils at 100 degrees. If I am adding salt, its boiling point increases from 100 to 100 to 100, 300, 400, so on. Whenever I dissolve salt, boiling point increases. Sea water has higher boiling point than river water. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Again, I am saying, more salt I dissolve, greater is the boiling point. Increase in boiling point of water depends on how much salt you dissolve. Colligative properties are the properties which depends on the number of moles of solute, but not on its nature. Are we clear? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, vapor pressure change or increase in boiling point. Similarly, pure water freezes at 0 degrees, but if I dissolve salt, its freezing point will become -10, -12, -30. The freezing point lowers. Depression in freezing point, elevation in boiling point are some colligative properties. Also, there is an interesting colligative property called osmotic pressure. Because of osmotic pressure only, water enters into plant body from roots. Osmosis is a process where liquid particles move from an area of low concentration to an area of high concentration. So osmotic pressure, which is represented by pi, depends on how much solute is dissolved. More solute is dissolved, higher is the vapor pressure. Higher is the osmotic pressure. You understand what is osmotic pressure, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Understood.
Sir, vapor pressure is different from osmotic pressure. Understand? Osmotic pressure means it is a pressure when two liquids are separated by a semi-permeable membrane like grape skin or like a potato. You do one experiment. Take a potato, make a cup with potato. And now put the potato in water. Inside the cup of potato, put some salt water. Salt water is more concentrated. outside water is less concentrated. Therefore, water from outside will enter into the cup of potato by osmosis. The osmotic pressure is a colligative property. What are the colligative properties? Properties of solution that depends on the number of moles of solute but not on its nature. How many colligative properties are there? Many. Elevation, boiling point, depression, freezing point, osmotic pressure, etc. Are we very clear, sir? Hello?
Yes.
So this is the entire topic which we are going to discuss in the coming few days. What are solutions? Types of different solutions. How to express the concentration of solutions. So, thank you very much, sir. This is the introduction to a topic called solutions. Now your comments. It is one of the simple lessons you have. Now, what are your doubts? Today's lesson is over. Hello, sir. Today I gave you introduction about the lesson called solution. We understood a solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. We agreed upon that a solution can be in solid, liquid, or gaseous state. Again, a solid solution may be made with two components, solid, liquid, solid, gas. Similarly, you can have other solutions. And the amount of salt dissolved in a solution is called solubility. Solubility depends on nature of solvent and solute, B on temperature, C on pressure. Effect of pressure is serious when gases are dissolved in liquids. Effect of temperature is serious when gas or solid is dissolved. We have seen what is Clausius periodic equation, what are different scales of concentration. We slowly go with the first unit of solution.
Hello. Hello.
चोरी डाल दे चोरी